So sir, I think
and it was accepted
you
by
appointed a
single
fit
judge.
person.
Now, on an appeal,
The HR and CE department appointed, in its own words, a fit person to administer the Mandapam. So it's not as if this was not some sort of takeover, and that the court was only focusing on whether it was a temple or a Mandapam, etc., etc. Sir, they have struck down the fit person that you appointed to look at this, and you justified the appointment. Were you, as the BJP and other Hindu groups are suggesting, targeting one particular faith over and above the other? Simple question to you, TKS Elangovan.
No. So we have no animosity with anybody here. Everybody knows that what is happening in
then,
Tamil Nadu,
sir, you did not have to. When the community was objecting, you needn't have had to take over this particular Mandapam. You could have said, no, let the courts rule.
We took up the affair only on the basis of a person who belonged to the same community.
It doesn't matter. The matter was being heard. What was the precipitate hearing? Dr. Ranganathan wants to come in. Dr. Ranganathan, yes. Do you believe the DMK is making sense here?
I completely disagree with the spokesperson. Rahul, there are 3 points here, and please, if I can have a couple of minutes, they're very important. Number one, I think it is ironical and really sad that this victory of Hindus is based upon the fact that the Hindus have had to declare, even though there is a deity and an idol, a god in that Mandapam, to declare that this is a registered society and doesn't belong to temple. I mean, it's really sad what Hindus have had to do in order to win a case out here. And it is the same Tamil Nadu government that told 2 years ago to the same High Court that it doesn't have enough money to pay to 12,000 temples to conduct even a single puja in a day. State control of Hindu temples and their property, Rahul, is by far the largest, financially most damaging scam of independent India. That it not only continues but flourishes under the BJP is a sad reflection of how the elected in our country treat our electorate. Even using the petroleum sector as a cash cow pales in comparison to the loot and pillaging happening of Hindu temples in the name of secularism. I ask you, if the Congress can bring in a legislation to control Hindu temples in 1959, one that still stands, why can't the BJP bring in a legislation to override it? Rahul, if you truly believe that religion should keep out of state, the corollary is equally applicable, that the state should keep out of religion, but does it? Secularism is total separation of religion and state. Total. Our state declares itself to be secular, but is shamelessly not so, controlling as it does only Hindu places of worship. A petition to free Hindu temples is pending in the Supreme Court since 2012. They can allow midnight hearings of terror accused, but not here. Government of just 10 states control more than 95,000 temples. Tamil Nadu Temple Trust own 478,000 acres of land. Tamil Nadu government alone controls 36,425 temples and 56 mutts. Billions in revenue. Ye secularism hai. A Hindu temple, its income, its educational institutions are controlled by and interfered by the government. But those of the mosque, a church or a gurdwara are not. Why? Only in India can you step aside and watch as the state appoints non-Hindus on boards that control Hindu temples. Only here will we remain silent as temple idols are stolen, temple property auctioned, a whole temple-driven ecosystem and way of life dismantled. Assault on temples has turned into an assault on Hinduism itself. Imagine a Hindu priest, Rahul, or a politician controlling and dictating how St. Francis Church or the Jama Masjid should be run. If that happens, perhaps our judiciary would indeed conduct a midnight hearing, crying death of secularism.
Well, let me tell you.
The time has come for a radical solution to the problem. Here it is, Rahul. If I can get 30 seconds, I want a solution to this. I want to explain it to you. Can I have 30 seconds, please?
Of course.
I know we are pressed for time.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I believe that a Hindu temple should be publicly listed as a company. After all, it supplies a product that people buy. Peace of mind and reassurance. And unlike other companies that need to constantly refine or come up with better products, a temple's product hasn't changed in a millennia and never will. Indians should be able to buy stake in it. and make the temple richer. The richer it becomes through public trading, the more it will do for society. Schools, hospitals, roads, housing, and the more it does for the society, the more it will garner donation. Rahul, just 10 seconds. With the temple being publicly listed, the ready excuse of the government that who will control the temple after we becomes untenable. Let the government tax the temple's wealth, no issues. But at least the wealth generated by the temples will be the temples alone to spend.
But for that to happen, Dr. Ranganathan, you first have to get the government to pass laws to relinquish control over the temples and hand them back to the Hindu Samaj. Let me tell you, viewers, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, MK Stalin, this is what he said. You, pointing to the BJP and others, should remain supportive of the state's efforts and get the funds. Your effort should be to help the people of our state, unquote. Viewers, for some, temples are not holy cows but cash cows, to be used to fund all sorts of schemes, and it is being done selectively. What does that tell you about all of those who have pretenses towards secularism?